Live for the last live stream of the week, our Friday live stream. These live streams are Ask Us Anything live streams. So, really, anything you guys want to talk about, right? We're here to chat about Freemasonry. That's what I love talking about. On Friday, I tend not to have a specific topic. I was going to read, I found it. Yesterday, the Grand Lodge of New York released a current statement on the anniversary of 9/11. They also provided a statement or comments on the assassination, the shooting of Charlie Kirk, which I was thinking of reading that as well. It's all the same statement. I think we got Smokey in the house with the hearts. How's it going, Smokey? Michael, hello, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I'm just sending a quick note here. We're here to chat about Freemasonry. However, on Fridays, it's really just to chat about anything we want. So, anything you guys want to talk about, please let me know. Jump in the chat. Nice. That's awesome, Smokey. Congratulations. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you. I'm sure that you will crush it. So, congratulations. And I wish you nothing but the best. Everybody out there, send some hearts. Smokey always does it for me and for this stream, so let's send some hearts. Actually, let's send 100 emoji to Smokey, because I'm sure he'll kill it. So, wishing you nothing but the best on your job interview. And Michael, welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. I think you might be new to the stream. Jump in the chat. Let me know how it's going. If there's anything you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have, anything you want to talk about, please let me know. Like I said, I think I will be talking today about the statement from the Grand Lodge of New York on the anniversary of 9/11. Yes, get yourself going, but thank you for being here. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please jump in the chat, say hello. We're here to talk about Freemasonry. So anything you guys want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry, any thoughts you have, please let me know. I do these streams every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. as well as 1 a.m. This weekend at 7 p.m., I'm also going to be doing a live stream at the same time. Me and a friend, which were the Igor Strukin, are going to be doing a live stream. We're going to be watching a movie together and talking about the movie on Tubi. So please take a moment, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let me know how it's going and what you guys want to talk about. And again, doesn't have to be necessarily about Freemasonry even. These streams are just me hanging out, chatting. Simon BFD. I don't know what PH means, but welcome, Simon. I think you're new to the stream. I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button. And let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. By the way, I was talking about it on the stream because it actually happened while I was streaming. So it kind of, I just kind of ended up mentioning it, but I was talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination when it occurred. And I guess as of today, the suspect is in custody. His name is all over social media, so. Well, welcome, Simon. Thank you for being here. That taco guy, welcome back. Thank you for being here. All is well? I hope all is well with you. Let me know how it's going, if there's anything you want to talk about. Any questions, any thoughts? Hello, Métis. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. Do you prefer Métis or Métis? I'm assuming Métis, but if I'm getting it incorrect, let me know. Good, taco guy. I'm glad all is well. We're going to give it a bit of time. We're going to see who joins. Please take a moment, hit the like and subscribe button. And anything you guys want to talk about. Today, my Friday 1 p.m. streams are always pretty chill. I don't have any specific topics. So really it's what anybody wants to talk about. Yesterday I talked about Freemasonry and relevance. Let me know what you thought about that stream. I also talked about the anniversary of 9/11. Did you know that the Grand Lodge of New York received over $3 million in donations from Grand Lodges and Masons around the world after 9/11? And all of that money went to help widows and those affected, widows, orphans, those injured who were first responders in the 9/11, recovery efforts. So I thought that was a little cool piece of trivia. The day before, we talked about email, ensuring that Masonic emails are seen. But today's stream, hang out, chat about it. We also talked about the long walk, the counterintuitive nature of forming brotherhood and bonds when we know we're all going to die, and when we know that brotherhood will come with emotional turmoil. We still do it, and why it is we still do it. Today, though, it's whatever we want to talk about. Hello, I can't pronounce your name from Greece, though. Thank you for being here. I did. It's called Homer the Great, and he joins the Stonecutters. It's a great episode. Oh, it's a great episode. Like I said, I think it's every Freemason's favorite episode of The Simpsons, and maybe just favorite episode of television in general, whether it be TV or just media in general. I like it a lot. I think it's great. I think we as Freemasons need to have a good sense of humor about those things. I think one of the biggest dangers we can have is when we stop, we would take ourselves too seriously, and we forget about kind of the absurdity of life, if you will, in general, and we're not able to laugh at ourselves. That's probably a bad sign. So yeah, I enjoyed that episode quite a bit. To everybody who's just joining us, welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope you'll take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know if there's anything you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry, or anything in general. I think, like I said, I will read the statement from the Grand Lodge of New York, which was released yesterday on the anniversary of 9/11. It also references Charlie Kirk, so I may take a moment to mention that as well. There's been a few Masonic posts about Charlie Kirk. I'm hesitant to talk too much about it. A, because I think I've talked about it enough. B, because I know very little about it. And C, because it delves into the realm of politics, which is something... I don't mind talking about my personal political opinions. However, I'm always hesitant when it comes to potentially people confusing my personal opinions with Masonic opinions, which are not the same thing. Well, I mean, social media is both a positive and a negative. It just depends how it's being used, right? As a general rule, I would probably honestly argue that social media is probably a negative. However, it's also something that we're never going to get rid of. Right? And so it's kind of like however it is you feel about it, or however it is you feel about social media, it's a reality of 2025. It's a reality of the foreseeable future. So I think we as Freemasons have a responsibility to try and utilize it for good uses, whether those good uses be promoting Freemasonry or promoting brotherhood or promoting community or promoting charitable endeavors, whatever it might be. There's this expression from Other People's Money, right, where he says, lawyers are like nuclear weapons. The other side has them, so I need to have them, but we should never use them. I kind of feel in some way the same thing about social media, right? The people who want to use it for bad have it. So the people who want to use it for good have it. And if one is using them, then the other has to use them as well. Or use it as well. But for the time being, let's wait. Let's see who joins. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And let me know if there's anything you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry or anything else in general. This is just a hangout, relax. This is just a hangout stream. So I don't have any specific topics. I will on Sunday, September 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be having a live stream with my friend, Worship Brother Igor Struk, and we're going to be watching a movie together. If you've not done so yet, please take a few moments to vote on which movie you want me to watch, you want us to watch. You can do so by going to my Patreon, patreon.com/squareandcompass. And then on September 19th, I'm going to be taking part in Medium Day. I also do a lot of writing on Freemasonry, writing on Medium. They're having a special day celebrating writing on Medium and how to make it better. I'm going to be attending that. I'll also be live streaming throughout the day on the live streaming throughout the day while I'm attending that. It's all virtual. So it's basically an online Zoom platform. I can't wait to attend, and I can't wait to share kind of what I learned. And everybody should apply for it as well. If you are involved in writing on Medium or you want to be involved in writing in Medium. Well, I hope I never put you in that position, Dad. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I never put you in a position where you have to turn me in. However, I would hope that you would turn me in if I ever were to commit, well, a crime of that nature. You know, if you catch me speeding down the road, maybe don't turn me in. Or failing to adequately separate my different types of recyclables. Please don't turn me in for that. But hope everybody's doing well. Please, as always, take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. Let's just wait to see who joins. And anything you guys want to talk about. Again, when it comes to Freemasonry, any thoughts you have, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear them. Well, like I said, if I ever put you in that position, then I'm very sorry, but I'll try not to. Having said that, if I ever call you in need of bail money, please send me the bail money, just to be safe. I hope everybody's doing well. Please, as always, jump in the chat, say hello. No particular topic today. Friday streams are just hangout streams. Like I said, I may, an hour in, read the report from, or read the statement from the Grand Lodge in New York. I think it might be worth reading. It was a very good statement. Not commemorating the anniversary of 9/11, and also mentioning Charlie Kirk's, or more just political violence in general. So but for the time being, we're going to wait to see who joins, and as always, what anybody wants to chat about. And if you are not on my email list, please sign up for my email list. I will be sending out an email shortly, probably this weekend, with a list of, or a schedule of all the types of different streams I have coming up, the different platforms they'll be coming up on, changes to the schedule. Well, Freemasonry is not political. That's one of the things that I discuss or have talked about. That's one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to talk about Charlie Kirk a little bit, because it is a stream about Freemasonry. At the same time, the statements were not necessarily pro, or how do I put this? They weren't being positive or negative about Charlie Kirk's messaging per se, more just a general idea of the abhorrence of political violence. And the idea of violence as being a non-Masonic thing. There's no evidence that Freemasons have been engaged in any violence. Knock on wood, it stays that way. But just a reminder not to allow ourselves to, as Freemasons, succumb to either violence or just hateful rhetoric in general, I suppose. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please take a moment, hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. They were just hanging out here, just waiting to see who jumps in the chat to say hello. No specific topics, so anybody wants to talk about anything, please let me know. If you have questions about, again, I don't know everything about Freemasonry by any means. I mostly know about my history within Freemasonry. Being a Mason since 2007, why I think it's important, my ideas on how we as Freemasons can both expand the craft, grow the craft, protect the craft, preserve the craft, pick your term. But yeah, CD, I feel like it's been a while. How's it going? By the way, CD, I know that you are a member of my Patreon. At least I'm nearly positive you are. If you get the chance, go there and vote on a poll question I'm asking as to what movie I should watch on my co-live stream with Igor Strukin. That's going to take place on September 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern. I just need to know which movie to watch with him. We're going to be live streaming it together, so... Dijan, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm doing well. I've never heard of Zeit. I mean, I know the phrase, I think. What's the movie about? And by the way, Dijon, please hit the like and subscribe button if you get the chance. So the Zeitgeist movie, a 2007 film that present a number of conspiracy theories as well as proposals for broad social and economic changes. Peter Joseph. So I've never seen this movie before. I don't know if it references Freemasons at all. Usually when you hear conspiracy theories, usually it's not so positive towards Freemasonry. But welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. I think you might be new to the stream. I don't think I've seen you on before. Please take a moment, hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know how it's going, and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. I can't speak to the movie. I've not seen it. Did the movie reference Freemasonry at all? And if so, was it positive or negative? Or neutral? Well, I'm not a fan of that, Dijon. I mean, I would not describe myself as religious. I believe in a supreme being, not necessarily, not necessarily a particular religion. I believe in a supreme being, but I don't believe religion is stupid. I believe religion can be used for stupid things, but I also think religion can be used for very positive things. I think it's the user more so than the religion itself. Okay, so you believe in a supreme being, kind of the same way I do. But I know many men of faith, many men of different faiths, and women of different faiths for that matter, all of whom are good people, all of whom have demonstrated a great deal of what's the word I would use? A great deal of dedication and commitment to making people better. And Mark Twain, for the record, was a Freemason. I mean, he's not completely wrong, but I think it's more complicated than that, right? I mean, there are times where religion can be used to kind of oppress people or suppress people. But there's also a lot of good that religion does. It's complicated. I'm very hesitant for simple answers like religion is good, religion is bad, religion is stupid, religion is... I think life is far more complicated than that. And like I said, one thing in Freemasonry, one of the ideas contained within that I do like is not to be a reviler of religion, but to be respectful of people and their religious beliefs. And I tend to try to do that as much as I can. Well, so Freemason doesn't mean that they are in welcome, last investor. Thanks for being here. Freemason doesn't mean, well, you could argue Freemasonry is a progressive science, right? I would be hesitant about how I use the term science or religion, right? Freemasonry is a civic organization or a civil organization. You can kind of pick your term. Being as such, it's neither religious nor scientific in the strict sense of the term. It's a grouping of people who are trying to build, in my opinion, either build a better world or build relationships and community. But Freemasons, to be a Freemason, you do need to believe in a supreme being. Again, the nature of that supreme being is up to each individual Freemason. Well, so stonemasons were. You're absolutely correct about that. And actually, the oldest document that kind of discusses masonry, the Regius poem, um, or the Halliwell manuscript, I like to mention that because it's charmed, references Euclid and references science and geometry. So masons, stonemasons, were themselves based on scientific principles, principles of geometry, principles that continue to exist even in 2025 when you have the Euclid space mission, right? Euclid, named after the ancient geometrician, an ancient mathematician, an ancient scientist. However, Freemasonry, speculative masonry, the type of mason I am, right? It's not scientific exactly. Again, it's a social or civic group. So if anything, maybe the best way to describe it is neither scientific nor religious, but is social, though with the foundation of scientific, or at least with the foundation of geometric principles that, amongst other things, inform our morality. But Dijon, I think you're new to the stream. Please let me know how it's going. I don't know if I'm a smart man. I try to be a smart man. Or at least I try to always remember that I'm not as smart as I think I am. Because by doing so, hopefully it keeps me humble. But in honor of me being a smart man, Dijon, please hit the like and subscribe button. I truly appreciate it. Let me know how you came across this stream. Alonzo, I in Freemasonry, we're called upon to make both a daily advancing Masonic knowledge and to study the liberal arts and sciences. Humanities are part of that, though, 100%. I think, generally speaking, the more we advance in Masonic knowledge, the more we advance in scientific knowledge, and the more we advance in humanities knowledge, the better able we will be to the better we will be able to contribute to the world around us. And ultimately, I think that needs to be the goal of Freemasonry, is to build a better community through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. We definitely don't have any secret knowledge on reality, right? The reality that you experience and the reality that I experience, I have no more knowledge about that reality than you do. I wish I could say I had secret knowledge about reality. I have secret knowledge about Freemasonry, but that's not even secret so much as just private knowledge. And it's maintained, the privacy is maintained because we want to make sure that we maintain the secrets for the purpose of maintaining the bonds of brotherhood between our members. If I start telling everybody our private rituals or private knowledge of the rituals, then the bonds I have with my brothers are both past, present, and future are less secure. Private knowledge is a good way to put it. Some would use the term esoteric. I would say, I would change that slightly, Dijon. I would say for each individual, 85% of the time we are followers, 10% of the time we are leaders, and 5% of the time we understand things on a deeper level. I think that is actually true of each individual and how they lead their life, much more so than necessarily the population as a whole. Because I think the majority of time in our lives we're followers. Certainly, you know, it's kind of the nature, because if everybody's leading all the time, then nobody's a leader, right? I think that is more a reflection of how each individual lives their life, as opposed to a reflection of the population in general. Socrates did say that, I believe. I could double check. Did he say that? So what about reality manipulation? What do you mean reality manipulation? Do you mean like virtual reality? Yeah, I don't think that's a quote from Socrates. Well, I mean, I don't know if I believe in reality manipulation as a general rule. Um, I mean, I certainly think that different people will try to manipulate reality based on their own perspective. So you could argue what I'm doing here is trying to manipulate reality. In that there's this thing I love called Freemasonry, and I'm trying to change reality. So I discuss it more and get more people to be potentially become members, or even not members, just get it to be more well known in the community. Um, I think when you say reality manipulation, the implication is not so much that, it's more people behind the scenes manipulating things without letting you know. But I mean, I tend to think the world is much more straightforward than we give it credit for. Um, right? And I'm very hesitant to believe in any type of reality manipulation. I think usually things are as they seem to be. Hearing all sides is good. Dog eat dog. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. By the way, dog eat dog, I hope you'll take a moment to, I don't know if you've done so yet, but head over to my Patreon, patreon.com/square and compass, and vote in the poll. I put up a couple poll questions, and I'm hoping you guys will take a few moments to vote on them, especially what movie you want me to watch on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing a live stream with my friend. We're going to be streaming at the same time. We're going to be watching a movie. Everybody can watch it with us. It's on Tubi. Yes, this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So please take a moment to vote on that. No, he's done some streams with me in the past. Worshipful brother Igor Strukan. He actually he's been my worshipful master in the past. And I've been his as well. Oh, actually, I was wrong. As of right now, we have 5 votes. Freemasonry and the Knights Templar is currently in the lead at 40%. Yeah, he's a cool dude. He's a great guy. He's an awesome person. One of my favorite people in the world and one of my best friends. And yeah, I look forward to. I used to do these a lot in the past with him. We'd watch movies together and talk about them. But this is the first time we're doing it on stream at the same time. I find the stream system, like I did with Smokey, works better. With Smokey, depending on what happens with his work schedule, but if he is not working, I'll be doing another live stream with him on my personal YouTube channel on the 29th of September. And then I'm actually, don't forget to join my email list, because I'm going to be sending out, I believe, very shortly, my schedule of the things I have coming up in the coming weeks, especially this month. I've got way more stuff as it relates to my live streams. I've got way more stuff as it relates to streaming on Instagram. I'm going to be giving away or gifting several Patreon gift memberships. at the tier 1 level. So that will be on September 21st, 22nd, basically every couple hours. I'm going to be giving people a chance to win a gifted membership. We'll be doing draws, no purchase necessary. Just come on out for it. It'll be a lot of fun. So that's September 21st. And to everybody else watching, please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know how it's going. Let me know what your plans are for the weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for voting, Dog Eat Dog. I don't know if we've had anybody on the stream from Bosnia before. I forget. If not, welcome, Dijon. Thank you for being here. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You know I talked about this previously, but it happened when I was on stream, Charlie Kirk's assassination. I guess that the suspect is now in custody. So I don't have any more information other than that. I mean, his name is all over social media. I'm not going to mention it here right now. I mean, I'd be hesitant to say he's demon possessed. I mean, other than, again, if you want to argue in a metaphorical sense, anybody who would do such a thing, metaphorically is possessed by a demon. I would say we just don't know anything else as to what his motives were or what the cause of it or mental illness or nobody knows. You want to be really careful, I think, when it comes to this stuff, to assume too much at this point. Other than to say kind of we'll see what happens. And it could be multiple things, right? Right. One of the things that we've talked about in the past, it was probably yesterday, right, was you can have multiple reasons to commit an atrocious act. You can have multiple reasons to commit any type of atrocities, right? I know a lot of people found it very, very sad, and I had a lot of friends as well as family. I know that to be the case. I don't know. If something's important, you find the time. If something is important, you find the time. I guess that's what I'd say. And usually I do believe that's the case, right? I tend to think people can say things are important to them or not important to them. If you're not showing up, then it's ultimately not important to you, right? You can't kind of have it both ways. You can't say something's important to you but never dedicate your time to it. There might be something to what you're saying there, Dijon. I mean, you might not be completely wrong. It's tough to say. I think everybody in life is trying to find that balance, right? I mean, Janis Joplin famously said, although Chris Christopherson wrote the line, freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. There can be a danger, I think, in providing freedom without also providing equivalent responsibilities and obligations, or in promoting the idea of freedom without promoting responsibility and obligations to both oneself and our community at large. I think we need to keep both in mind. I think one of the things I love about Freemasonry, genuinely, is the fact that the extent to which it emphasizes things, it emphasizes the idea that we kind of belong to each other in a certain extent. Or I can't focus so much on my freedom and personal rights that I forget about those around me. And I forget to care about those around me and support those around me. I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs. I mean, I love Janis Joplin. Absolutely love Janis Joplin. And Me and Bobby McGee is absolutely one of my favorite songs. Back in the day, I used to go to this bar called Rock Bottom. And they had a jukebox. I love jukeboxes. Well, I've always dreamed one day when I'm super rich, I'm going to purchase my very own jukebox. I feel like that would be the height of luxury to have my very own jukebox. I think they're so cool. But it was at this bar called Rock Bottom, and they had the greatest hits of Janis Joplin in the jukebox, and I used to play that over and over again. It was a combination of me and Bobby McGee, Mercedes Benz, uh, Take Another Little Piece of My Heart, and Summertime. I used to play those four songs like on a loop. It was a great jukebox. It was during law school. Hello, Spirit. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. How is your Friday going? Are you looking forward to the weekend? Yes, I know. I think a lot of people feel that way, that they can't wait to escape back to a place where there is no political talk. Is it going to get bad, dog eat dog? I don't know. I mean, I wonder how much of this is recency bias because it, I mean, I was born 1983, but in the 1960s to 70s, you had the assassination of JFK, then you had the assassination of Martin Luther King, then you had the assassination of Bobby Kennedy, you had stagflation, you had Vietnam, and America made it through to its credit, and you had what felt like a pretty great time in the 80s and 90s. At least growing up, it felt like things were going pretty well. And then you have 9/11. It seems like, I don't know. I don't know if things are as bad as they seem or if it's a matter of recency bias. And in fact, things have always been. I mean, would you have wanted to be around in the 1930s during the Great Depression? It's the other thing I think to keep in mind is Charlie Kirk was heavily involved in and very successful in the social media sphere, particularly YouTube. So obviously, when this happens, the people talking about it are all going to be YouTubers where we get our news. So they're going to be far more concerned about it because it's in their profession than they would be when a non-YouTube person gets assassinated, right? Like it's in their wheelhouse. You can even argue he was first and foremost a media figure, so obviously the media is going to be talking about it, and perhaps hand-wringing about it because it affects them in a way that, let's say, a school shooting does not. The algorithm, Thank you for being here, algorithm. Please, I bow down to you, algorithm. Help me get more subscribers and followers. I very much appreciate it. But good to see you here. I definitely don't buy that, Dijon. I definitely don't buy the idea. I've never believed in a deep state as a general rule, or that any one thing controls everything. I think life is far more complicated than that. So, no name, to my knowledge, Charlie Kirk was not a Freemason. Interesting enough, I did see one clip of him where somebody asked him what he thought of Freemasonry, and he said he had no opinion about it one way or the other, um, other than he keeps an open mind. So that's an interesting point. Uh, well, the church longer, I mean, religion as a general idea, even longer than that. But Freemasonry has been around for, depending on your date, I give it 1717. 300 years is pretty good. Predates America, predates Canada. Um, one thing, that's one thing I talk about when it comes to, let's say, your friend and mine, uh, Donald Trump. When I talk about my concerns about Donald Trump and his effect on relationships between Canada and the United States, one thing I always try to remind Freemasons in both Canada and the US is the typical political situation is made of sand or dust, whereas Freemasonry is made of stone, meaning the political situation will change. Um, Freemasonry and the love Freemasons have for one another should not change, because that is built from stone, whereas Donald Trump and Mark Carney and Obama, I mean, those political relationships are made of dust. But Freemasonry is made of stone, and stone lasts a long time. Um, I mean, I've not seen the handshake he gave Trump. To my knowledge, Donald Trump is also not a Freemason. Um, I'd be very hesitant to put too much stock into this idea of handshakes and stuff. Um, a lot of that stuff is way overdone. To my knowledge, neither of them were Freemasons. Um, and I don't. I think if they were, it'd be well known. Put it that way. Dijon, again, I have to disagree with Richard. One thing we're taught in Freemasonry, or not even taught per se, but one of the ideas of Freemasonry is not to be a reviler of religion, whether it be Catholic, Protestant, Hindu, Muslim. And I don't believe religion to be the root of all all evil. Um, I think religion has done many good things in society and has done many not so good things in society. Um, but I don't think it's inherently evil. And I've known many men of faith who are very good people. So you have to take people as they come one at a time. Can there be a secret society? Well, there can't even be a secret society in society, right? Like Freemasonry, as people always point out, is not a secret society. If it was, would I be able to talk about it as often and frequently as I do on these streams, right? There are always going to be different groups that exist within larger groups or different subcultures that exist within cultures. So when I went to law school, there were different groups within the law school. They weren't secret, but some I could be a member of, some I couldn't. For example, the Black Law Students Association, whatever it might be. Um, so when it comes to Freemasonry, I mean, there are, for example, I'm not a member of the York Rite, but I know it exists. I know some things about it. I purposely don't pursue the secrets of it because it's not my place since I'm not a member. But they couldn't keep it a secret in and of itself. Um, I still know about it. You know what I mean? There is no outer circle or inner circle. There are different circles. The only circle that matters in terms of or the circle that matters in terms of your ability to influence Freemasonry is the Master Mason degree. Uh, Once you get the Master Mason degree, you are as high as you can go. Everything else is for ego, put it that way. Having said that, I'm 18th degree Scottish Rite, so. Well, no name, that's not quite true. I understand what you're trying to say, but that's not quite correct. We would describe it as belief in a supreme being. If you want to use the term singular force of cosmic holiness, then you can. But supreme being is the term. It's an Enlightenment era term, and one that I would use more frequently. You have to believe in that. You also must be of the correct age. In Ontario, it's 21 years of age or over. In America, it's usually 18 or over. And to join the fraternal side of Freemasonry, you have to be a man. There's also the Order of Women Freemasons, which again, you can be a woman. You need to be a woman to join that one. There's also requirements around you have to pay your dues every year, things of that nature. But that's kind of a separate issue. Um, I mean, well, again, it's not secretive. It would be a private order, right? The difference between secret and private is I know it exists, um, but the nature of the ceremonies are kept private. Um, Secretive, I don't see where I'm trying to move away from the term secretive. Eastern Star as well, no name, you're right. Secretive because unfortunately a lot of people, even though I keep my bank information a secret, not that there's a lot of money in there, but I keep my bank information a secret, not for nefarious reasons, but for my security. People, or you keep a family recipe a secret to maintain the bonds between the family. A lot of people, when they hear the word secret or secretive, tend to assign nefarious motives to it. So I tend to use the term private. Um, well, Mr. Keeps, I save a lot of money on shoes. Uh, since I have no legs, I don't need to spend money on shoes. And I'm trying. I saved up a lot of money. I had a lot of savings, and because I don't have a family, which does allow me to save some money. I'm lucky in that with Freemasonry, because I'm at lodge every week, I actually end up eating for free a lot of times because luckily there's always refreshments after lodge. And then, I have my Patreon. I get some money every now and then from Masons who support the channel. Sometimes they don't want to become patrons, but they give one-time donations, and my savings. But if you guys want to support me and help me, then I really appreciate if you became a Patreon and paid $3 a month to $50 a month. It would be incredibly helpful. Um, and it would help me do this because I think Freemasonry is worth fighting for by using my savings and by, fighting for it and maybe living a little bit poor so I can focus on travel and focus on supporting Freemasonry. Uh, well, I mean, I have the same level of government assistance as everybody else in that living in Canada, I'm very lucky to have things like free healthcare. I'm very lucky to have things like, I don't know, the dental program. I consider myself very lucky to be Canadian in that I get that assistance, but no welfare, no ODSP. Again, I worked in government for about 10 years and I was able to save up a fair bit of money, luckily. Uh, and again, I try to not take advantage of, but I'm lucky in that, Masons have supported the channel in the past. And Masons continue to support the channel. And again, I save money on shoes and, I oftentimes eat for free. Not for free. As Spirit says, I do pay dues. Um, but, even tonight I'm going to visit a lodge and I know there'll be refreshments afterwards. I did invest and I did okay at some of my investments. Not great, but I'm working on that. I had some investments in cryptocurrency that went okay. I didn't make a ton of money or anything like that. I mean, I will take snacks, Mr. Keeps. I'll always take snacks because I have a lot of clothes, and honestly, they end up getting bleach stained anyways. But even just you being here, I truly appreciate the support. So thank you so much for that. Um, well, if you have any ideas, last investor, let me know what some of your crypto investing tips are. I did a podcast episode with High Altitude Investing, and he talked about cryptocurrency, and how Freemasons can potentially take advantage of cryptocurrency. Not take advantage of it, but use cryptocurrency as a way to either improve our investments, potentially offer some type of coin offering in exchange for a project, or as a method of payment of dues or method of payment of bills. Um, that's true. Shoe money does go to wheelchair repair. Oh, there's been a ton of musicians who have been Freemasons over the years. Mozart was the most famous example. Beyond that, uh, Brad Paisley is a musician who's a Freemason. Well, last investor, I hope you'll check out my episode with How to Investing and then maybe let me know what you think of it. I think a Mason coin would be a really interesting idea. There are some groups that are trying to create Not so much Mason coins, but Masonic NFTs. We'll see how that goes. I talked to them ages ago, so I'm curious to see how they do and the extent to which it's successful. My favorites for snacks, I've always had, a sweet tooth when it comes to chocolate bars, so I like those. I like chips. I like pop. For food, I mean, I love seafood, so like tuna, those canned oysters, I'm a big fan of those. Well, this was a few years ago. I don't know if it ever took off. It was called Ether. Uh, Let me see if it's actually still even around. Ether. I'm going to see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. Ether, Freemasons, NFT. Well, last investor, I can't create Ether Lodge, it was called. Actually, no, this was Crypto Masons from Binance. Freemasonry launches NFT collection on Ethereum. Members of Freemasonry has developed a digital art collection called Crypto Masons. You can check it out. However, if you want to buy anything from Masons, why don't you become a Patreon member, last investor, and you get some stuff from me. You won't get NFTs, but you'll get some correspondence and some coins and some cool stuff. Become a Patreon at Square and Compass. Patreon.com/Square and Compass. I'd very much appreciate it. Also, as everybody knows, one of my favorite things is coffee. So I do love that very much. We're going to give it some time. We're going to see who joins. Thank you to everybody who's joined so far. No, I've never really noticed the difference in taste, to be honest. The thing I've noticed about traveling to the States is not so much the different tastes, but rather the portion sizes. Like the portion sizes you get in the States is so much bigger and so much higher than the portion sizes you get in Canada, especially when it comes to fountain drinks. It's crazy. But I've never noticed a difference in taste. For me, it's just the portion sizes are so much bigger, especially when it comes to fountain drinks. Now, if I'm ordering something specifically for the taste, then I notice a difference. So, for example, like I'm trying to think of how to describe it. When I am in Mexico, for example, I'm purposefully drinking Coca-Cola because I like the taste of it in Mexico better than I like the taste of it in Canada. Or when I'm purchasing it in Canada, if I can find a glass Coke bottle that's from Mexico, I purchase that because it's so much, I like it so much more than the ones in Canada. Or when I was in Mexico, the coffee in Mexico was so much better than coffee here. I love the Mexican coffee. Or when I'm in the States, I love Dunkin' Donuts coffee. So that's what I go for in the States. But that's when I'm looking for it. If I'm just eating a typical meal, I'm not paying attention for it, I really don't notice a difference in taste. All right, everybody, I'm going to give the standard, what's the word? The standard disclaimer, right? We're not meant here to give financial advice. So take it for whatever it's worth, but last investor does have a tip. I've heard that, but again, I can't say I've ever noticed it, but I don't know how food dyes taste, right? In the States, it's crazy. Certainly, coffee is a lot bigger. A large fountain drink in the States is crazy big compared to the fountain drink size in Ontario. I know in New York they tried to like change that, um, and give uh, legal limits on how big drinks would be that you could serve in shops and restaurants, which I think is honestly probably a good thing. Actually, a YouTuber called Casey Neistat did a whole episode on like a whole video about the sizes of drinks and the legislation in New York. He's a really good YouTuber. I don't want to start my own religion, but I have started my own Patreon, patreon.com/square and compass. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. But I hope everybody watching this will hit the like and subscribe button and let me know what you want to talk about. I mean, I'm not a fan of no of plastic straws. It seems to me kind of wasteful as a general rule. You could argue the whole thing is wasteful from the cup to the lid to the plastic straw. But as a general rule, I think if we can limit our waste, then we should, whatever that looks like. Whether it is less plastic straws, less plastic cutlery, even, I mean, you can argue I'm a hypocrite, but even less of these things, right? Less one-time use cups. But at least this is paper. This is my casino coffee, and this is my Mr. Keeps coffee. Thank you, Mr. Keeps. That's very kind of you. Shoot me the Amazon, if you can, the Amazon link so I can track it, so I know I can be at the temple when it arrives. But that's very, very kind of you. It's always, my fans are better than your fans, is what I always say. Thank you, much appreciated. You should have my email address, or you can message me through Patreon, just with the link, and I'll track it, and I'll make sure I'm at the temple tomorrow when it arrives, or when it's expected to arrive. Well, the Englishmen love their beer, so in fairness, that doesn't shock me. As one who's never drank before, it doesn't affect me too much, the size of the pints of beer. That's another way I save money, on pints of beer, not having to buy those. I remember back in the day going to law school, we'd all go out to the bar. My bill at the end of the day would be, 20, maybe $10, because it'd be a pop and then free refills, whereas everybody else would have a $40, $50, $60 bill for alcohol. So I always felt like I was getting away with something there a little bit. Well, thank you. Thank you, Last Investor, for being here. That's very, very kind of you. Um, I hope you have a good time. And thank you, Mr. Keeps. That's very kind of you as well. I do have a backpack. I got it here. Oof. So I'll bring this with me. You'll notice showing my love of Canada. Maybe I will call a brother, though, just to be safe as well. Um, I'll have to make sure that, like I said, I call a brother to assist. But again, thank you, Mr. Keeps. That's incredibly kind of you. And yeah, I do know, right? Like for me, obviously, I don't see any. And this is for anybody. This is a general comment, right? I don't see any conflict between being a religious person and being a Freemason. I know a lot of people do, which is fine, and certainly no one has to join Freemasonry or support the channel financially, but stuff like that is very kind of you, and is very, very much appreciated, just as much as being a patron, right, or being a subscriber. Stuff like that is very kind and appreciated very much also. then it definitely is going to be pretty heavy. So I'll need maybe a couple backpacks or a buddy to help me. Um, but no, that's very, very kind of you. And thank you to everybody who has joined so far. Maybe what I will do now is read the Grand Lodge of New York statement. So yesterday I read the one from 4 years ago on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Today I'm going to read the most recent statement, which came up from the Grand Lodge in New York. This was released yesterday. I think it was released after my stream had already ended, because I was trying to find it. I knew that they were putting something out. I just couldn't find where it was. I think they actually put it out later than I was streaming. But let me see if I can read it now. It also mentions Charlie Kirk and deplores political violence. So let's see if I can find it again. Yes, so this is from the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of the State of New York, dated September 11th, 2025. A message from the Grand Master of New York on the anniversary of 9/11. My brothers, each year September 11th returns to us not as a date on the calendar, but as a solemn reminder of sacrifice, unity, and resilience. We remember those who perished in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania. We honor the brave first responders who charged into danger without hesitation, and we recall the spirit of brotherhood that rose from the ashes of destruction. Without hesitation, and we recall the spirit of brotherhood that rose from the ashes of destruction. Sorry, let me repeat that again. Remember those who perished in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania. We honor the brave first responders who charged into danger without hesitation, and we recall the spirit of brotherhood that rose from the ashes of destruction. That day, we learned again that light can shine even in the deepest darkness. Today, we are also confronted with another painful reality, the violence that has claimed the life of Charlie Kirk, a man struck down for his opinions. Regardless of whether we agreed or disagreed with him, such an act reminds us of the fragility of life and the dangers of hatred when it is allowed to harden into violence. As Masons, we are called to a higher standard. We are builders of peace, harmony, and understanding in a world too often divided by fear and anger. We are taught to meet our brothers and our neighbors upon the level, to act with justice upon the square, and to walk uprightly before God and man. In these moments of sorrow and reflection, we must live those lessons all the more. Let us resolve that the memory of 9/11 and the tragedy of senseless violence will not make us bitter, but will call us to labor more earnestly as peacemakers. Let us extend charity to the grieving, strength to the weary, and brotherly love to all who cross our path. For if there is one truth that time and trial cannot erase, it is this: hatred may destroy, but only love can build, and we as Masons are builders. May God bless our departed, comfort the brokenhearted, and guide us in the paths of light. With kind brotherly love, I remain Steve Adam Rubin, the most worshipful Grand Master of the Grand Lodge Free and Accepted Masons of the State of New York. I know a lot of people would agree with you, Spirit. I think the issue is it's so ubiquitous. It's being talked about so often on so much social media. I think a lot of Grand Lodges kind of feel like they have to discuss it or have to mention it. And I think in general, it probably is worth a mention, especially to try to make sure that we as Freemasons don't fall into the trap of getting too political in our discussions of it, either on one side or the other, either the pro kind of celebrating Charlie Kirk's message or heaven forbid celebrating his death, rather recognizing that it's a human being who was lost and just mourning that loss, or respecting those who are mourning that loss, might even be the better way to put it. Even the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of the state of Indiana mentioned it, where they say, I have this here: Freemasonry this was yesterday as well. Freemasonry is an organization of men of every background, sect, religion, and political thought. We join together in the union of brotherly love despite those differences of faith, thought, and conviction. We build brotherly relationships based on the acceptance of each other and our shared desire to put our ritual into action by supporting each in the journey of taking good men and making them better. We do this through our tenets of brotherly love, relief, and truth. Recently, a high-profile political figure was murdered at a public event, sparking not only shock and sorrow, but controversy and political hate speech from both sides of the aisle. As Freemasons, we are charged to rise above the fray. Abhorrent speech, vulgar language, and hateful conduct is foreign to us, yet at times our emotions, thoughts, and actions override our Masonic values. When this happens, it is incumbent upon every brother Mason to reflect upon their actions, arm themselves with their working tools, and break off the corners of the rough ashlars to prepare their living stone for that sacred building, the house made not with hands, eternal in the heavens. As I often am, I am reminded of the valuable, indisposable lessons we learn as Freemasons. Silence and circumspection are truly Masonic virtues. We are all children of the same parent. Masonry joins men of every sect and creed who might well have maintained a perpetual distance. My brothers, as we reflect today on the thousands of lives lost 24 years ago during the 9/11 attacks, let us remember those tragic events brought to us by hateful extremists whose cause was not strengthened by those attacks. Rather, they were weakened as our great country rose together to support each other, renewing our pride in our country and re-energizing our patriotism and unity. Let us then use the tragic events of yesterday to grow in understanding and compassion, to reclaim the charge of brotherly love and understanding, and to stand firm on the moral dictates of our great fraternity. Let us build and grow and love and pray together and show that Masons can do and will make the world a better place. Fraternally, Randolph L. Seipel. I'm going to share this as well on my socials, but I got to disagree with you, Spirit. Look, not everybody can see what you posted, by the way. Only I can, or exclusively I can right now. I mean, I'm not going to hide that I personally was not a fan of Charlie Kirk. I thought much of what he said was pretty terrible, to be honest, and pretty vile. Having said that, there's a lot of people who say a lot of things that I think are pretty terrible and pretty vile, including, to be honest, some Freemasons who say some things with which I strongly disagree and consider to be vile. You have to, at the end of the day, whenever there is the loss of a human being, I think it's always a cause for mourning. Or, even in cases where, and I'm not saying this of Charlie Kirk by any means, right? I'm not saying that, but even in a matter of, let's say, for example, war, where the loss of a soldier on the other side is necessary, I still don't believe it should be celebrated, rather just accepted as something that is necessary. And in the case of Charlie Kirk, I think it's just an incredibly tragic situation, and not one where I'd ever say, for example, he got what he deserved or anything to that extent. I think it's a tragedy, because certainly, if nothing else, his wife didn't deserve to lose a husband, and his kids didn't deserve to lose a father. And once the idea that racism, or not racism, once the idea that this is an appropriate response to anybody, even someone who is, let's say, racist, I don't think it just leads us down a very dangerous path. So the example of the one that it's come back to several times, the idea that the loss of life is an acceptable price to pay for having the Second Amendment. I think that's crazy. I think the idea that's an acceptable trade-off is pretty vile. Right? That's why I mourn his death, because I don't think it's acceptable to. I don't think the loss of life for a Second Amendment is worth it. If you want to say it's not vile, okay. I think willing to accept the loss of life in exchange for a Second Amendment is pretty vile. Also on Jubilee, well, I definitely um, on Jubilee he said, and I thought this was pretty vile. He said during slavery, there black people committed less crime, which I have no idea how to take that, but it seems pretty vile thing to say. Um, like I can't imagine the possible good faith interpretation of that. It seems like a pretty terrible thing to say. Um, so there was that as well. Um, and those are the two things that come to mind most obviously. And then I guess it's not a thing that he said, but the fact that he bussed people and helped people arrive at January 6th, I think is a pretty vile action, because I view January 6th as an incredibly sad day and something that, for me personally, really, I'm not American, but I found pretty terrible. But again, none of those things mean somebody should, by any means, somebody should die. And I think, again, whatever you think of him, his kids deserve to have a father, and his wife deserves to have a husband. So, um, I guess what I'll say is, yeah, I consider those three things to be two things he said were vile, and one of the things he said was a vile action. But there are a lot of Masons. I know, a couple days ago, there were a lot of Masons who were very disheartened and very sad with the passing of Charlie Kirk, because they were fans of him. They listened to his, what is it called? I don't know what it was called. His show, Charlie Kirk show, I think. And so be it. Everybody gets to have their opinion on him. No one gets to be shot for that opinion. And I would hope that, the extent to which I'm I'm hesitant to use this terminology because, again, I'm using it in a metaphorical sense. Um, if you find yourself in a situation where you have to fight with somebody physically, you have no choice but to fight with somebody physically. Your responsibility is to become the best fighter you can be to hopefully overcome them in that fight. With Charlie Kirk, it's not a physical fight, but we're in a situation where, unfortunately, if you are of my beliefs and the way I view the world should be, we have no choice but to fight with him in the sense of being able to express our opinions and argue our points. And if he is doing a better job at arguing his perspective, then it's our responsibility to become the best debaters and the best at rhetoric. It's our responsibility to become a better arguer than him and to become better at debating and better at presenting our points, right? Because we have no choice. He, and not just him, but him, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Bench, all these people, Candace Owens, all these people with whom I strongly disagree, they're going to keep expressing their opinions whether I want them to or not, unfortunately. So all I can do is try to become the best that I can when it comes to expressing my opinions. And hopefully I can become a better, I can become better fighter than them and become better at expressing my points. And that's what I try to do here, right? I want to be, because I know there's anti-Masons out there in the world who express their opinions. Unfortunately, There's nothing I can do about that. I can't make them stop. All I can do is become a better arguer, a better debater than them, and do a better job. And in doing so, I can win the fight. Because that's what I have to do, right? What choice do I have? My other choices are either just disengage altogether and let either the anti-Masons, or if you want to use a political sense, let the Charlie Kirks, you know, have the floor and express what they think, or I could become better than they are at debating, at fighting for my perspective and win. Because unfortunately, they're not going to stop. So, and a lot of people now, I think, are turning to just tuning out altogether, even people who might have the opposite view of Charlie Kirk and decide, right, that they are just not going to engage at all, which is one option. But for me, because I think the world can be made better, and I think I have a responsibility to try to make the world better, I think my responsibility in that is to push back against ideas and thoughts that I view as making the world worse. Um, Poonam is back. Welcome back, Poonam Yadav. Thank you for being here. Alonzo, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say, again, I wouldn't say I have sympathy for Charlie Kirk. Exactly what I have is empathy for, again, those who liked him and liked his message and, feel like they lost somebody they looked up to, and certainly empathy for, again, his wife and his kids, who didn't deserve, again, his wife deserves a husband, and his kids deserve a father. All in One, hello, welcome back, All in One. Thank you for being here. As Rondo says, whether he was a bigot or not, I personally think he certainly expressed bigoted views. At least, again, the Jubilee statement about slavery, his views on the recent attack on the subway or the metro. It doesn't mean you get marked for death. And Spirit, I can understand why someone who is black might. Again, I'm not going to police anybody. You can feel however you want to feel. It's not my place to say how people should feel. I'd say, though, certainly we as Freemasons, however we feel, we should approach this, at least speaking in a manner that is empathetic and kind to those who lost a friend and a family member. Well, social media allows the ideas to expand greater and greater, right? And it allows people who sow division to say more and more things. But again, it goes back to this idea of the fight, right? Like if we'll use a physical fight, if I'm in a position where I have no choice but to physically fight somebody, then at that point, it's incumbent on me to become as strong as I can and to become as decent of a fighter as I can in order to try to win the fight, right? And when it comes to the battle place of ideas, unfortunately, if I'm in a position where the Charlie Kirks, the Ben Shapiros, whomever it is, are going to be utilizing social media to express their ideas, and I have, I can't stop them, then I guess all that's left for me is to become as good as I can on social media and expressing my views to win that fight. I do remember you red lighting. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for returning. Thank you to everybody who's hit the like button and subscribe button. I hope everybody is doing well. Please take a moment to let me know how your day is going. And thank you to everybody who's hitting the reaction buttons. That helps out big time. Hey, 5 minutes is great. If you want, you can spend that 5 minutes maybe sharing this stream. Maybe you can sign up for the Patreon. All that good stuff would be very helpful. But I appreciate you being here, whether it's for 5 minutes or 5 hours. Yes, get yourself to the Legion. Enjoy your red shirt Fridays. We're going to give it a bit more time. We're going to see who joins. Um, it's funny because your name is red lighting, but yet you love the color blue. But I like the color blue as well. For me, my favorite color is pink in honor of Bret the Hitman Hart. But I do love the color blue also. I hope your day is going well. Let me know what it is that you want to talk about. What do you mean what happened? I'm just hanging out here, um, chatting. We're talking about Freemasonry. Today's questions is just anything you want to talk about, right? Anything you want to talk about, please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. Any thoughts you have? I read some different statements from the Grand Lodge of Indiana, from the Grand Lodge of New York on both September 11th and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And now we're just hanging out. It's been a great stream. I appreciate everybody who's joined so far. It's been wonderful to see all the people being part of this stream. Please take a moment, if you are joining, to hit the like and subscribe button. I would truly appreciate it. Cameron, but I go by Square and Compass Promotions on this stream and on YouTube. We're just going to give it a bit more time. We're going to wait to see who joins. It goes well, Black Raven. How's it going with you? I hope any exciting plans for your weekend. I think I saw on socials that you were traveling. You were in Colorado, I think. I could be mistaken. Um, if you are doing well though, please let me know. Or if you were traveling, if you were rocking out, like I said, I thought it was. I could be mistaken. Let me know. And I hope you're looking forward to a great weekend. I'm looking forward to a great weekend because. I'm going to be seeing The Long Walk. And believe me, I'll be talking about it on socials. I'll be talking about it on YouTube, on my personal channel, as well as this channel. So be prepared to see me chatting about it. But how goes it with you? I've been to Colorado. I was in Denver, Colorado. I love Denver. I've been to Denver 3 times. never anywhere in Colorado beyond Denver. So it's on my, like, the state itself is on my list of places I'd like to get to, outside of just the capital. The capital is really interesting because there's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories about Denver, Colorado, and the Freemasons. So I've eaten food uh, today. Earlier today, I had some chips, I had some pop, I had some coffee. I haven't had actually a decent breakfast or lunch today. What'd you think of my talk on the long walk? Did what I say make sense? The book is really good. I loved like I said, it's one of my favorite books. It goes back and forth between that and Don Quixote. Um, the movie looks really great as well. Everybody's saying it's very very good. Um, I did not get to Colorado Springs or anything like that. No, I wish I did. Uh, like I said, I was there for the Grand Lodge annual communications, which is really beautiful. I remember the hotel where the communication took place was it was a beautiful hotel, but they had this fireplace. And so I remember doing a lot of live streams in front of the fireplace. Welcome to Brotherhood. How's it going? Good to see you. You're working on that song, right? How's it going? So I have not had anything to eat today yet, other than, like I said, chips and coffee and pop. Uh, my super healthy diet. I got to work on that. Well, Freemasons, since 1717, have fought in every war as individual soldiers, but never as, like, it's never been the Freemasons versus, right? Many times, Freemasons are on opposite sides of a conflict. Like, there's a famous monument in Pennsylvania. It's called Brother to Brother. It's where you have a Union soldier and a Confederate soldier meeting on the battlefield. Um, the Confederate soldier is shot dead, and the or shot is dying, and is giving to the Union soldier a a pocket watch, and a few other items, asking them be delivered to his widow, which the Union soldier did. So you often see Masons on both sides of battles. It used to be common, thankfully, this is not the case anymore, but it used to be common in the case of Masonic lodges on two sides of a conflict, for the Masons in both sides of the conflict to remove recognition with each other. So what that meant is, during, for example, the American Revolutionary War, well, go to your lodge meeting. I hope you have a great lodge meeting. I hope you encourage your brothers to check out my podcast after the fact. Um, but yeah, I hope that you enjoy it, and enjoy it very much. Um, so during the Revolutionary War, right, Grand Masons in England and Masons in the United Kingdom stopped recognizing Freemasons in America. So, for example, George Washington was a clandestine Mason for a time, because UGLE did not recognize his lodges. And you also saw that in World War II, United Grand Lodge of England stopped recognizing Masons living in Nazi Germany as being Masons. Thankfully, we're kind of moving past that, which I think is a good thing. I don't think it benefits anybody to stop recognition of Masonic lodges between countries that are at war, because sooner or later the war ends. As I said, those political relationships are built of dust, whereas Freemasonry should be built of stone. And the recognition between countries, I think, should still exist. If for no other reason, then it makes the rebuilding process after the war that much simpler and that much easier. We're going to give it a bit of time. We're going to see who joins. We're just here hanging out, chatting about Freemasonry. It's been a great stream so far. I enjoyed it very much. So Chinese food is great. General Tao chicken is great. The thing I love about Chinese food is the leftovers, right? You get to enjoy it for the day, and then you get to enjoy it the next 3 days, which is particularly fun, I think. Chinese food is one of those types of food that always tastes better the next day. English Club, I'm doing well. Thank you for being here. Gordon Johnson, hello, worshipful brother. Thank you for being here, Gordon. Is this your first time on the stream? I think it might be. I'm not sure. Where is St. David's Lodge located? If you don't mind my asking. These streams is on Fridays at 1. It's just me hanging out, chatting about whatever. I don't have specific topics. So it's just any questions or thoughts or comments about Freemasonry in general. Keep in mind there's Masons and non-Masons on the stream, so no sharing of signs or the private ritual, but just general conversation about Freemasonry. Or honestly, a lot of times it's anything else we want to talk about. But English, it's going. I hope that means it's going well. And thank you for joining. It's really wonderful to have you. Province of Berkshire. Okay, it's interesting. My dad is from United Kingdom. He's from England, but he met a Canadian girl, and you know how that goes. You got to keep your Englishmen away from those Canadian women. They'll steal them away. But his dad was a member of Haltwhistle Lodge, which is located in Haltwhistle, Northern England. And I've actually visited it a couple times. That's the question. Is happiness or is brotherhood worth the prolonged suffering, right? Why do we want to form friendship? Why do we want to form brotherhood? Why do we want to have Freemasonry when we ultimately know that we're all going to die sooner or later, and that will come with an emotional cost to it, right? I think Freemasonry tackles that as an idea. Oh, you're Bucharest Red. It's been a while. Welcome back, Bucharest Red. I was just thinking about you and wondering where you'd gone to. Thank you for being back. How is your day going? And like I said, and how are things in Bucharest? And Gordon, I'm curious, as a worshipful master, are there any topics that maybe you would want to see me cover at some point? To give you an idea of the topics I've covered on this stream recently, I talked about email etiquette and protocol, how Masonic secretaries and Masonic admin can make sure that the emails that they are sending are being received and either not ending up in the spam folder or not being lost in the shuffle. I talked about the ways that Freemasonry can and should explore relevance and focus on communicating its relevance to its members and the community and the types of relevance it can explore. I talked about the themes of friendship and brotherhood as found in The Long Walk, which is both a movie and a book, and how Freemasonry tackles the fundamental question of why form brotherhood and why form friendships when we know that will come with a level of emotional challenge. I'm trying to think of other things I've talked about. I've talked about what we as Freemasons need to put in our Masonic suitcase as we prepare to return to Lodge. So yeah, there's a lot of different topics, but I'm always looking for more. Oh my gosh, 35 lodges. I mean, once you retire, that tends to be when you get really busy because suddenly, next thing you know, everybody thinks you have time. So you must be out 7 nights a week, easy, at 35 lodges. Same thing, Bucharest Red. If you have any thoughts about topics you want to see me explore, please let me know. Also, in my written content, I've talked about lessons from Steve Jobs and how some of his management and philosophies can be applied to Freemasonry. I've talked about mindfulness, Masonic journaling, how we can incorporate mindfulness techniques within Freemasonry. So there's a lot of things. And today I talked a little bit about some of the statements that have been made by Masonic Grand Lodges and Freemasons on the death of Charlie Kirk. The Grand Lodge of New York posted something. The Grand Lodge of Indiana posted something. I've also seen a couple commanderies from the York Rite post a couple things, as well as what they posted on the anniversary of 9/11. I don't know if people knew this. Tell the Masons out there and non-Masons. An interesting piece of trivia. After 9/11, the Grand Lodge of New York received over $3 million in donations, um, which went to from Masonic Grand Lodges around the world and individual Masons around the world. That money went to support widows and orphans of anyone who was killed in 9/11 and relief efforts for first responders. Again, who maybe got injured, lost their lives, whatever it is, for their families in that case, during 9/11. Hello, Sean. No worries. I appreciate you being here even for a couple minutes. It's wonderful to have you join. I hope that you're doing well. And you're what, 2 weeks away from 2 weeks away from the Supernatural Expo, which I'm sure is going to be awesome. Chris, the next step then is to be one, ask one, right? So you need to look for some Masonic lodges that are within your area. Make sure to ask them what Grand Lodges they are affiliated with, or with which Grand Lodges they are affiliated, so you know you're joining a legitimate one, and start the process. Don't rush it. Be patient. It takes time. There's, investigations and votes, and they need to get to know you. Hopefully, you'll get to visit some of their meetings, not the tiled portion, but the dinner portion before or after, and just get to know them. And believe me, enjoy the process. To anybody who is either in or around Johnstown, Pennsylvania, or can make it there, if you enjoy the paranormal, if you enjoy the spooky, Johnstown Masonic Expo, so it's the Johnstown Masonic Convention Center. They hold a paranormal expo. It's free to attend. It's a great way to show off the building. I was there yesterday and it was incredible. Or last year. I was there last year. It was incredible. First of all, Johnstown Masonic Convention Center is an absolutely amazing building. Johnstown is a beautiful city, and the expo was a lot of fun. So if you get the chance, check it out. And honestly, you can take the Amtrak into Johnstown. The Amtrak has a stop there. It's a beautiful place. Sorry, and you can see my interviews with Sean and with the Stifler brethren, about the expo. I've got a couple. Okay, I feel like I should spend more time on that chat, Gordon, because I know a few people who are on it. It seems like a lot of great guys, so it's on my list of things I want to check out, believe me. More so, I've been on it in the past, but it's been probably been a year at this point, if not even longer. Actually, maybe what I'll do is I will ask a poll question. I asked this question on my other streams. Let's see what people say. Is Freemasonry relevant to your life? Well, I'm guessing, Gordon, your answer is yes. I'm guessing Freemasonry is very relevant to your life. At least it sounds it. If you're playing 35 lodges. Good. What would you, so it's a, if you want to give a shout out for it, please do so. It is a tiled meeting though, right? It is tiled, it is exclusive for Freemasons. You need to be a Freemason to be a part of it, if I'm not mistaken. But it's not, if I recall correctly, it's not exclusive for Master Masons, right? You can be of any rank and join. But I could be wrong about that. Let me know, hit me up in the chat so I'm making sure I'm getting it correct. The Prime Minister of India is, I used to know his name. Modi. The Prime Minister of India is Shri Narendra Modi. So it sounds like the Grand Organist chair has just about as much glue on the seat or the bench as the secretary's chair or the treasurer's chair. Those tend to be pretty sticky chairs once you sit in it. It tends to be very hard to lift yourself off of it. Sounds like Provincial Grand Organist is the same situation. But I'm assuming you must enjoy it as well. I always say people who talk about Freemasonry, they don't, sometimes they forget Freemasonry can also be a pain in the ass sometimes. As someone who is a member of many lodges and is out more nights of the week than I'm in, but it can be a pain in the ass that's worth it, right? So, like I said, I'm sure there may be times when you don't necessarily feel like attending lodge, but you do because it's worth it because it's something bigger than yourself. Not to, I hope you don't mind me potentially speaking for you, but I suspect that's how most of us or many of us feel who are very dedicated to it. And the grand organists are an important part of the lodge, right? Music is an important part of the lodge experience. For many years, it seemed like there was a lot of emphasis placed on it. Then, as organists became fewer and fewer, it was less and less music in lodges. I personally love hearing music in a lodge. So, um, yeah, it's awesome. Oh my gosh. So, are you attending, like, I'm assuming you attend the special meetings, be they installations, be they official visits, maybe degrees, right? I assume that's how you try to balance it out, is to kind of attend those meetings you need to, those special meetings. So then how many times would you say you're out per week? I'm guessing it's a lot. Sounds about right. At least you're saving money on dinner, right? At least you're saving money on dinner, I guess. Modi is the Prime Minister of India. Yeah, so I was saying, at least you get that, right? There's that old joke about the Freemason who hasn't eaten dinner at home in 30 years or something like that. That's true. That's very true. You don't. Well, I mean, I'm obviously it's you're paying with your dues. Although I do understand in some lodges in the States, or sorry, in England, what it is actually at the end of the night when you're having your dinner, the lodge lets you know the cost of it and then divides it up amongst the members. Whereas they'll let visitors eat for free. In Canada, usually our dinners, when I say dinners, I'm being facetious, right? But our refreshments, our lodge meetings, our our dues cover the cost of the refreshments. And if you're a visitor, if you're a Mason visiting from another lodge, then you tend to eat for free. Um, but to say, it sounds like for 5 nights a week, you are definitely eating at lodge more than you're eating at home. Yeah, there are still some daylight lodges. I like daylight lodges. I think it's worth fighting for them, to be honest. I like lodges that meet during the day. I think there's a lot of value to them. My uncle is a master mason. He tells me small bits about. I mean, Freemasonry is fascinating to me. It depends on your personality, right? Not everybody finds Freemasonry fascinating, and that's fine. Not everybody finds it fascinating, which is fine as well, right? Um, like there's some people who love Freemasonry because of the ritual of it. There are some people who love Freemasonry because of the history behind it. There are some who love it for the social aspects. There's some who love it for the opportunity for charitable works. Everybody finds different, every Mason will be attracted to different elements of the craft. It's kind of up to everyone in the lodge as a whole, to both identify what interests membership and then promote those interests. That's how you promote relevance, um, right? That's how you promote relevance within um, within our communities and within our membership, right? I think relevance is the most important question for Freemasonry. When people say what makes a lodge successful, it's the extent to which it's relevant in the lives of its members and the lives of community members as a whole. Even if you're not a Mason, do people in your community know about your building, care about Freemasonry? Does it have an impact on them economically? If you're a shop owner, like a restaurant owner, can you rely on the Masons to be good customers for dinners and refreshments? That stuff matters. I enjoy taking part in ritual. I think I've gotten to the point where I've taken part in so much ritual, I'm kind of ritualed out, but it still is very enjoyable. Again, everybody has their different things they love about Freemasonry. Freemasonry is not one single thing. I think it's one of the biggest mistakes people make is this idea that Freemasonry is like one thing, right? It's not it's one thing, it's many things. By the way, English Club, don't forget, give a shout out. Let me know again what your um, about next Thursday, the global Zoom, what it is and who can join and all that good stuff. Is that true? Because I've taken part in it before, and I'm not a member of UGLE. I'm a member of. I mean, I'm a member of a lodge that's recognized by UGLE. I'm actually a member of 5 lodges that are recognized by UGLE. But you can be part of a recognized jurisdiction, right? Thank you, James. That's very kind of you. I'm grateful to have you here. I very much appreciate you being here. As I said, I'm a member of, technically I'm a member of 5 lodges. Not quite as many as your 35, Gordon, but I'm a member of 3 lodges here in Ontario, and then I joined a lodge in Texas, and I joined a lodge in Israel. And I'm hoping actually to join a lodge in Illinois soon as well, a lodge which I've visited frequently. I'm a big believer in plural memberships. I know a lot of people are not. I know a lot of Masons who actually think it's better to not have plural memberships, but I would disagree with that myself. Which actually might be a good topic to discuss later, right? In another stream, right? The benefits and drawbacks of plural versus singular memberships. I don't think so. The name doesn't sound familiar to me. Well, Tranquility Lodge. Yes, Tranquility Lodge is technically it meets on the moon, but it's stationed in Texas. Named after Tranquility Valley. It's a descendant of Buzz Aldrin. I have been to all of those places and sat in lodge in all of those places. That's really cool. You listed the 5 places I've been to. If you had mentioned Brazil, it would have been the 6th. But I've sat in lodges all across the United States, Canada. I've sat in one lodge in the United Kingdom. It was Halt Whistle. The Philippines, I was in Manila, and Mexico. I was at Puerto Vallarta. And Freemasonry is global, right? That's the beautiful thing about Freemasonry, is that there are different jurisdictions all around the world. I love the fact that there's a sci-fi lodge in England. I mean, there's also one in, if I could find it now, there's also one in California. This is their coin. But yeah, your sci-fi lodge is really cool. I'd love to visit it one day. I want to do an interview with them at some point to talk to them about the sci-fi lodge. You know, how it is, what it is, why it formed, the type of things that they do to celebrate kind of the sci-fi theme. I think it'd be really fun. Add Astra to the stars. I guess I am a bit of a Trek here. Actually, growing up, I really loved Star Trek. I was a huge Star Trek: The Next Generation fan. Uh, I kind of grew less interested in science fiction. I've now become, for me, it's now scary movies. That's where my love is. That's the thing I love the most. I love all of the 80s slashers films, etc., etc. However, I still have a soft spot for Star Trek. It's interesting that you have the Ground Lodge of California in San Francisco, and that is the future headquarters of Starfleet Academy. Well, that chat, I'm sure, amongst other things, one of the benefits of it, like I've talked about this before, and by the way, I speak exclusively for myself, nobody else. So always remember that. I really think a lot of Freemasonry dropped the ball after COVID when we stopped focusing as much as we could on the potential benefits of virtual get-togethers, virtual meetings. It really does provide us with an opportunity to connect with brethren from around the world. We connect with them virtually first and then hopefully in person. And that's certainly a benefit of the Thursday chat, right? Is the fact that you can, without having to cost an arm and a leg, um, you can visit and have brethren visiting from around the world. Hopefully, eventually that leads to in-person meetings and strengthening of the craft. That's really cool, the fact that you play space themes. That's awesome. Do you have like a favorite theme that you do? I would say my favorite space theme would be from the Battlestar Galactica remake. I always thought that was a really, really cool theme. How long have you been a Mason yourself? Well, yeah, Battlestar Galactica was sci-fi and fantasy. So you got me beat by about 20 years. I joined in 2007. So it's for me, it's incredible for me to believe it's been almost 20 years. Um, Time flies. So from Wales, I know there's a Grand Lodge of England and a Grand Lodge of Scotland, but there's no Grand Lodge of Wales, right? Wales is under UGLE. Yeah, that's what I thought. One thing I found interesting, I just learned this, is both the United, at that time, the Premier Grand Lodge of England and the Grand Lodge of Scotland were both formed on the same day, June 24th. Different years, obviously. Premier Grand Lodge of England came first, but I thought that was a cool little piece of Masonic trivia that I discovered. Who are the Welshmen? You mean like Welsh people traveling to England? I don't know what the term the Welshman means. Just people from Wales who travel to England? TG, welcome back. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. Please take a moment to hit that like button if you're not done so. But I hope that you are having a good day. Okay, I mean, it's really interesting how you bring that up. One of the things, I'll always talk about is I've talked about this a million times. Um, when it comes to Freemasonry, right, you cannot separate the economic conditions of a community or a country from the condition of Freemasonry, right? If you have an economically depressed country, an economically depressed community, for example, if you have a community where you have all the coal mines getting shut down, uh, it's going to affect Freemasonry, both in the sense of a lot of people are going to be leaving to find work elsewhere, which is going to deplete the pool of potential applicants and potential members in one town, while potentially increasing the pool of applicants or potential members to wherever they move to. Or if you already have a lodge that exists, whomever may be member, again, if you have coal mines shutting down, uh, you're affecting the ability of the lodge to function. I mean, because people have to move away. I talked about this in Elko, speaking of Nevada, in Elko, Nevada recently, or I guess a couple of years ago now, where um, um, the Elko, Nevada is a mining town. Speaking of mines, it's a mining town, and the worshipful master and senior warden were saying, the mine's doing well. The problem is when you work for the mining company, you're not stuck in one spot. The mining company very often will have people moving around the country, sometimes the world, but will move around the country, putting them in different mines across America. So it made it very hard for the lodge to function because they were constantly losing members due to the whims of the mining company and the economic conditions. That's why on this stream, I do talk a lot about Freemasonry and the economy. I talked about the recent jobs report. I talk about tariffs. I talk about trade, because that stuff does affect the extent to which Freemasonry can flourish in a community or in a country. And just as Gordon said, now you have the opposite effect. Maybe you see in Wales a potential increase in the number of possible members, and from wherever they're traveling to, a potential decrease, or an increase in affiliations, or whatever it might be, as businessmen who move to Wales are looking for lodges there if they're Masons, right? You cannot separate the economic conditions of a community from the condition of Freemasonry within that community. Not to be that guy who's, chews his food twice and says that over and over again. Also, to a certain extent, Freemasonry does help the local economies, not just through charitable efforts and benevolence, but through supporting local businesses by, for example, relying on local businesses to cater events or to hold special events or meetings where you use a local caterer. For example, we in my lodge, we had a coffee tasting event and an ice cream tasting event, both catered by a local coffee shop and then a local ice cream shop, respectively. I do not know where that is. When it comes to England, I know where London is, kind of, and I know where Newcastle is, kind of. That's about the best I can do. I hear Wales is really, really beautiful. Like one of the most beautiful places in the world. So would that mean it's on the coast? Like it's along the coast of the United Kingdom? Directly west. So that would be towards the Atlantic Ocean? I mean, I love the water. I love swimming. I love the coast. We should just keep driving then and come see me. Drive over the water. I'll vouch for you. I'll get you into lodge. I promise. You'll be fine. By the way, Gordon, I'll let you know I do have a bunch of stuff coming up. So really far west. You kept driving. Were you there for like a long time? Were you there for a vacation? It's funny, I've never been to Vancouver except in the airport when I had a connecting flight coming back from Mexico. So I've never seen Vancouver except for its airport. It's a very nice export. Did you visit? Nice. Did you visit any lodges while you were there? Okay. I mean, I always it's tough, right? When you're traveling for business, or even if it's like a family vacation, trying to find the time to visit your Masonic brethren can be really tough because you're there for work, you're there with family. The schedule can get pretty packed. So, no, well, I mean, that would make sense since you're an organist. They picked the right man for the organist job, that's for sure. So you sell them internationally then? You sell them to Canada, United States? Do you sell them around the world? Or I guess, did you sell them around the world would be the better question because I know you mentioned you retired. Nice. So did you sell a lot of the products to actually Masonic lodges who were looking for organs? I'm assuming maybe there's a few lodges in existence right now that have organs that came from yourself or came from, that are Hammond products. Nice. Maybe one day you can send me pictures of them. I'd love to see them. I don't know if you, like I said, follow me on any social media sites or if you've ever been here before. If I don't think you have, but I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button if you've not done so already. Like I said, and by all means, let me know if there's anything you ever want me to talk about. These Friday streams are me just hanging out. I don't have any specific topics. I did read the remarks on the anniversary of 9/11 and remarks regarding Charlie Kirk from both the Grand Lodge of Indiana and the Grand Lodge of New York. I am. I'm on Facebook both. I have a personal account and I have a Square and Compass account. Sure, it's Cameron Adamson. I'm also on Patreon. I hope you'll follow me there. Twitter slash X, all those spots. We're just going to wait and see who else joins. By the way, the question is Freemasonry relevant in your life? 9 votes. Looks like 2 votes no, yes is 78%. My hope one day is to get that number up to 100%. Even if you're not a Freemason, that doesn't mean that Freemasonry cannot be relevant in your life. It can either be relevant in your life because you have friends or family involved with it, or there's some economic connection between you and the Masonic building in your community, or it's something that you find interesting and consume content about. Right? My hope is to make Freemasonry relevant to everybody, whether you are a Freemason or not. Takes a lot of work, but that's okay. Bucharest Red is back. Do you have 2 different accounts? By the way, I hope you'll subscribe on both of those accounts, but cool. Good to see you. We're going to give it a little bit more time. There's a bunch of us. It's at Square Compass Essex. So if you're on Facebook and you go to at, let me actually do it this way, facebook.com/at Square Compass Essex. If you do that, you should find it. Facebook.com/at Square Compass Essex. Although you may have already found it. It's Square and Compass Promotions. It's the same thing as my avatar. My symbol, the symbol there, that's what it is. But like everything, it just takes time to grow it. But I appreciate the support very much. You can also support me through Patreon. Thank you, Freemasonry Navigating the Craft. I'm not sure whom you might be, but I appreciate you joining. I like your name as well. I think it's a good name. I trust in a supreme being. I believe in a supreme being. I avoid using the term God simply because God as a term, right? I feel like for me personally, it is too connected to whatever the dominant religion of the culture may be, right? So when I use the term God here in Canada, I think a lot of people, it invokes kind of Christian imagery. If I were to say it in Morocco, it might invoke Muslim imagery. I use the term supreme being. I think it's more inclusive, and I think that it is a more open term. And so, yeah, I believe in a supreme being. I trust in the supreme being. I believe the supreme being has made its will known to us through the rules that govern the universe, through scientific understanding and rationality. And I think that because we can understand those rules, it will favor us if we act in accordance with them or in accordance with nature, and it will not, we will be harmed if we act not in accordance to nature. In some ways, my kind of beliefs is kind of a combination of Stoic beliefs and like almost Jeffersonian belief in a supreme being. Thank you, English Club. I truly, truly appreciate that. That's very kind of you. And thank you, Gordon. I truly appreciate that as well. Um, you can also follow me on Medium, Patreon. A lot of people think to follow Patreon, you need to pay. You don't. You can become a Patreon member for free. Gives you a chance to vote on topics we discuss and another way to contact me directly. Patreon.com/square and compass. And thank you, Freemasonry Navigating the Craft. Thank you, Bucharest. I truly appreciate it. You know, in terms of what's coming up in the next few days, I can go through that as well. Actually, just one sec. I believe that's me. Yeah, that should be me. I mean, I'm not just a digital creator, but I think it says that on there. It's me, and there's a picture of me with a bunch of different movie stars and stuff. It's hard to request me as a friend. I'll see if I can find you as a friend to send you the request. We might already be friends, to be honest. Nope, never mind. Let me see. Oh, I found you. I'm adding you as a friend. We got 77 mutual friends. It's got to be you because it's a picture. It's a cartoon picture of somebody playing the organ, and we got 77 mutual friends. So I'm going to bet it's you. But what do so going back to what I've got coming up, I'm just going to take a moment. If I can find this thing here. So, September 14th, at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be watching a movie with my friend, Worship Brother Igor Strukin. It's going to be a Masonic movie. We're going to be live streaming us watching the movie. If you want to, you can become a Patreon member and you can vote on which movie we're going to watch. Right now, in case anybody's curious, the winning vote, the movie that has the most votes is Freemasonry and the Knights Templar, which is at 40%. Then Secret Societies, Space Masons, and the Alien Conspiracy, 33 and beyond, the Royal Freemasonry. Each of those is at one vote. So there's still time, but Sunday, 7 p.m., we're going to be watching a movie. Together, 7 p.m. Eastern. Then, on September 19th, I'm going to be taking part in Medium Creators Day. That's a virtual event where it starts basically 10 a.m. and it's a series of different talks and discussions on different aspects of writing for Medium. I'm going to be attending that and live streaming at the same time. So probably do almost a full day stream at that point. September 20th, Saturday, I'm going to be doing a live stream on Instagram. And then Sunday, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, September 21st, I'm going to be streaming starting at 2 p.m. It's going to be a full 24-hour live stream, starting at 2 p.m. on the 21st, going to 2 p.m. on the 22nd. Every couple hours, I'm going to be giving away a free Patreon tier membership. You will be able to get amongst other things, if you win one of those gifts, you'll get correspondence, which includes this commemorative postcard of my beautiful home, the Windsor Masonic Temple. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And that will be on the 21st to 22nd. And then the 20th, that's also my birthday, by the way. And then the 29th, we're going to be doing a live stream, possibly with my friend Smokey DeClown, on my personal YouTube channel. So that should be a lot of fun as well. And at some point very soon, you can expect me to do a post from Devonshire Mall here in Windsor, where I'm going to be talking about the movie The Long Walk, which I cannot wait to see. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to do like before and after reaction to it. Okay, great that you accepted it. Thank you so much. Let's see. Yes, you accepted it, so much appreciated. I'm going to be sending you the information about my YouTube channel very soon. Sending you the link so you can become a follower. Follow and like and all that good stuff. It really helps out big time. So you never get home, is what you're saying. All right, I just sent you the invitation on Facebook. You can follow, like, share the Facebook page, etc., etc. All that stuff helps out. And now we're just giving a bit more time. We're going to see who joins. As always, this stream is just a hangout stream. I did read some Masonic correspondence from the Grand Lodge of Indiana and the Grand Lodge of New York for public distribution, talking about Freemasonry and the aftermath or the anniversary of 9/11, as well as condemning political violence for obvious reasons. Good night, Gordon. Thank you so much for being here. As always, it is very, very much appreciated. And I hope to see you again soon. I hope you enjoyed the stream for whatever it was worth. Like I said, there'll be more specific topics in the coming weeks. Or, on Monday, actually. We'll have a specific topic. I have a few ideas, but I'm always open to suggestions as well. So if anybody has any suggestions, please let me know. Gonna wait to see who else joins. Just hanging out, chatting. The beautiful thing about these streams is I just wait to see who wants to chat and talk. And anything you guys want to talk about, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. Just waiting to see if anybody else jumps on. We are here just hanging out, chatting about Freemasonry. Anything you guys want to talk about, positive, negative, or neutral when it comes to Freemasonry, I'd love to hear it. Any thoughts you have? Let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who else joins. 11 votes, 73% Freemasonry is relevant to your life. No is at 27%. I hope we can get that turned around. I'll keep my fingers crossed. And when I say turned around, what I mean is I hope we can get, not turned around per se, I hope we can get it more in the other direction. I hope we can get 100% of the chat to say Freemasonry is relevant to their life. But for now, I'm just waiting to see who's going to join and who wants to chat. There's no rush. I'll stay on for a little bit longer, but it's been a great stream so far. It's wonderful to have some people coming, from some new people joining the stream, as always. And thank you to Bucharest Red, Navigating the Craft, for all the support. In even more exciting news, it is 5 weeks until countdown to Christmas, which I very much love. So I'm a big softie at heart. Welcome if you're just joining us. We're just here chatting about Freemasonry. Please jump in the chat. Take a moment to say hello. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. As well as anything else maybe you want to talk about. These Friday streams are just me hanging out, chatting about whatever. I don't have any specific topics, so. Almost got the, just Had this fly here like 2 days in a row. It's driving me crazy. Right now, though, I'm just waiting to see if anybody else jumps in the chat to say hello. I'm not going to end the stream yet because you never know who's going to show up. So I'll just hang out for a little bit longer. Like I said, see, about to sneeze. Did I get it? Did I get it? I think I might have caught that fly finally. But now I don't want to, like, let go. No, I did not catch the fly. No, no, Mr. Keeps one. No, well, maybe I'll do a 1 a.m. just because I know that you don't have to work. And I guess 1 a.m. on Friday honestly does make a lot more sense than doing 1 a.m. during the week when people have to work. So maybe I will do a brief 1 a.m. stream, but it'll be a shorter one. But it might be kind of fun to do. Again, there'll be no specific topics. It'll just be us hanging out. The next week, I did have a couple different ideas of things I wanted to discuss. One possible idea is a little bit more about Freemasonry in the Middle East, primarily because WrestleMania just announced it's going to Saudi Arabia, and I think it might be kind of interesting to discuss Freemasonry in the Middle East. I think that might be worth an exploration. So that is possible. Maybe some Masonic numbers I've been seeing that are interesting. There's this brother who often posts in Texas. He posts statistics related to Freemasonry in terms of things like growth of the fraternity, or like he'll post statistics about everything from the average age of members, whether it's going up or down, number of lodges that are losing members versus gaining members. Might be worth exploring those statistics. Might even do a whole thing about Masonic statistics in general. But I'm always up for ideas as well, so. But welcome, if you're just joining us, please jump in the chat, say hello. Hit that like and subscribe button and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. Let me know if Freemasonry is relevant in your life. My hope one day is to get that number up to 100%. I'd love to see 100% of people say it's relevant in their lives. To make Freemasonry so big that it cannot help but be relevant. That'd be my goal. We'll see if we ever get there or not. Just waiting to see who else joins. Like I said, this is the Hangout stream, so there's no specific topic. Just about Freemasonry in general, or really anything else we want to talk about, to be honest. Oh, hope everybody's okay. It's been a little bit, maybe like the streaming part of it certainly, maybe 7 or 8 months. I've been doing it for a little while in terms of things like the podcast episodes. I've been recording for much longer. Um, but I probably started. I have to go back and look. Actually, probably about 6 months or so. I've been doing the regular streaming. So I'm trying to see about doing the writing more full time as well, to be honest, because I think there's also room for Masonic writings. There's a lot of Masonic newsletters and books, but more consistent written Masonic work through things like Medium, for example. I think that is something we need to see a lot more of. As it seems like Freemasonry is doing in social media land. Freemasonry does seem to be doing well in TikTok, like Brother Fluff, and also a lot of Facebook Shorts are actually doing really well, or Facebook Reels seem to be doing really well lately. Obviously, Freemasonry on X is not doing so great. Mostly, it seems like on X, Freemasonry gets a bad rap a lot of times from conspiracy theorists. So there is that, but that's okay. We can't win. We can't win everywhere, you know. We're going to give it maybe another, let's say 10 minutes or so. That'll be 3 hours, which it's been a great stream. I've loved it. I will be back on at 1 a.m. this morning. It's going to be a relatively brief stream, I think, but it'll be fun to, again, get back on, try something different. Or not different, but talk about some different things with people who join the stream. As always, different times means maybe you get a different audience, at least to catch them initially, right? Because obviously people are online nowadays 24 hours a day. So being online at different times helps make sure you're going to find them. By all means, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, you can drop a link either to this chat in general, or you can drop a link to Discord Encumbrers Promotions. Would be much appreciated. Or you can drop a link to the Patreon, whatever you want to drop a link to, by all means. How would I explain to you, Mr. Keeps, how would I explain to you how Freemasonry is relevant to me? Well, to you specifically, or do you mean to non-Masons in general, right? To you specifically, Freemasonry is relevant to you through your interest in this channel, right? Were it not for Freemasonry, I would not be live streaming. At least I don't think I would be live streaming. And you would not, we would not have any type of relationship, whether it be audience member, YouTuber, subscriber, YouTuber, or friends, pick your term, right? So Freemasonry is relevant to you in the sense that you're interested in this channel. This channel is about Freemasonry, and it's at least relevant enough to you that you express a level of interest in it. So I describe that as being emotionally relevant to you. Now, when I say emotionally relevant, I don't mean you're spending your nights crying about it or having strong emotional thoughts about it, but rather the fact that you care enough about this stream and about me to tune in regularly, to send a care package, that shows to me a level of relevance. And if you were to say it's not that Freemasonry is relevant to you, it's that I'm relevant to you. Well, since Freemasonry is relevant to me, then by the transitive property, it kind of becomes relevant to you as an audience member and a friend. Beyond that, though, I mean, my suspicion would be, I don't know this for sure, right? I'd have to know a little bit more about your life, but my suspicion for you is at some point in the life of your community, the Freemasons did something to assist your community through charitable efforts or economic efforts to which you potentially benefited. So an example might be if you have a restaurant you enjoy, there's a chance that the Freemasons supported that restaurant by using it for catering, helped to get through a rough time. I know, like I said, there were some restaurants that Freemasons helped keep afloat during COVID by doing events there. Or, again, I don't know about you particularly, but you may have had a public event that took place in a Masonic building. So I know in Windsor, people who don't even know what Freemasonry is have incredibly fond memories of the Windsor Masonic Temple. They attended weddings there, dances there, graduations there. They attended vaccination clinics at the Windsor Masonic Temple. Or they traveled across the river to the Detroit Masonic Temple to attend a concert or a celebration. And again, without that building, they would not have those memories. So it was relevant at the time they created the memories, and then it remains relevant to the extent that they... links, it sucks, but links in the chat very rarely come through. It's relevant to them both when they had the memories themselves, when they took part in them, as well as when they think back to it. Um, and then in a very broad sense, I mean, Freemasonry is relevant to you because, if you're Canadian, the very first prime minister was a Freemason, and Freemasonry helped develop and grow many of the institutions and ideals in the sense of kind of general philosophies that are still present, as well as the first president of the United States was a Freemason. The founder of the Philippines, if you're Filipino, was a Freemason. The first president of Turkey, the kind of founder of modern Italy, etc., etc. So that's how it would be relevant to you. But my hope is Freemasonry becomes John A. Macdonald. John A. Macdonald was a Freemason and was the first Prime Minister of Canada. My hope is that Freemasonry becomes so ubiquitous that whether people know it or not, it's relevant to them, and then it becomes relevant to them. So, for example, to use the example of the National Football League, even if people are not a fan of the NFL, even if people don't really care for football, the National Football League has become so ubiquitous, it's probably relevant to them, whether they understand so or not. Certainly, it's probably relevant to them economically in that they may live in a town or a city which benefits greatly from the business that's brought in by the football league. They may work in a restaurant or work in a hotel or work in some type of industry that relies on the tourism, or they may work for the team itself. If they don't do any of that, they may be a fan who watches on TV or goes to games. If they don't do any of that, they may know somebody who's a massive football fan, like the old cliche of the long-suffering wife who's every Sunday the husband watches football. In that case, football is still relevant in the sense that even though she may not enjoy it, she has to think about it because she has to think about it as it relates to her family. And so in the same way, I hope Freemasonry one day becomes so ubiquitous and so valuable that people recognize its relevance to them. Right now we're at 13 votes. Is Freemasonry relevant in your life? And let's see what it's at number-wise. I can't see the totals right now. Yes, 69%, no, 31%. So, all right. We're going to give it another, let's say, 10 minutes. I mean, it was posted on Facebook, so I'm curious to see if we get some more people joining. I would say it's not the social aspect per se. I'm not always I can be sociable, but I don't think it's my default. Um What's the word I would use? I would say I enjoy the practical aspects of Freemasonry the most. So, for example, when I think of my favorite moments within Freemasonry, it's not the lore or the rituals or the philosophy. That's certainly true. I appreciate those things as a kind of a binding agent that helps bond us all together, but it's not what I think of when I think of my favorite moments. Nor is it the social club aspects in and of themselves. It's not just hanging out. It's all the times I think that we in Freemasonry have done a practical thing to make the world a better place. So, for example, the ice cream tasting we held in the lodge. The reason I have really fond memories of that is because the shop that we used to, acquire the different ice cream flavors was a very new business. And getting the chance to support them financially as well as give them some advertisement um, is something I really loved doing. And then obviously I appreciated the fact that the members enjoyed the ice cream, right? But it was the fact that we helped us a small business made me feel good. Or I've talked about it a lot, the virtual beer and cheese and meat tasting that we did during COVID, which again, it was a small business. It was a brewery that could not have sit down customers during the lockdowns. The fact that we were able to help them out while at the same time continuing with virtual meetings as a way to give brethren who might be lonely, might be suffering from loneliness or isolation, still give them some way to communicate with each other and to show they're not alone, even if it's on a computer screen, right? Or even during COVID, when we did the one thing we did is we had one of our actually Masonic wives. She liked to knit, and we had her knit a whole bunch of. I wonder if I can find it quickly. I'll be right back, Mr. Keeps. If you're still there, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I just want to see if I can find this thing. I showed it before, but I see if I can find it again. I don't know where I put it is the problem. Is it in there? No, I don't think so. It's from Vicky, I think it's in here actually. It's from Vicky Moffat. Let me see if I can find this thing. Here it is. So she made 100 of these Christmas stockings. And then during COVID, when we couldn't meet in person, we traveled around to everybody's house and delivered one of those stockings to them with a little note saying, like, you're not alone, including widows. Um, and again, that's not really a social aspect because we didn't really talk to them, maybe for a minute at a time, but it was a way to help people feel better during a challenging time. Um, my favorite Masonic moment of all time was January 19th and 20th. We had hundreds of Masons in our building from all across Ontario as well as from all across really the world. I organized it, and what I enjoyed about it, yes, I appreciated the social aspect in the sense that I liked, hanging out with them for a bit, whatever. But it was the practical things. It was the fact that we showed and displayed local artists' artwork, giving them the chance to see, giving people a chance to see their artwork. We did that for free. It was all of the local shops and businesses that got to display their wares and sell some of their wares. It was the bar services helping the brewery. It was making people feel good being around others. It was showing off what I considered to be one of the coolest places in the world, Windsor. So I'd say half points for that, Mr. Keeps. I enjoy. So I'm not one who naturally goes to the lore, rituals, and philosophy. That's not my interest, except again as a binding agent to bind us together. I don't mind the social club aspect, but it's not my favorite. For me, it's the way Freemasonry gives me an avenue through which I can fight to make a better world, either a better world economically, through people's health, their mental health, their physical health, their well being. That's why so much of my stream, I try to focus on the practical things in Freemasonry, how to send an email so it gets received, the types of permits you need to run Masonic meeting, or not Masonic meetings, but certain types of Masonic events, right? Like if you want to have a meeting that involves the service of alcohol or the sale of alcohol, do you have the smart serve licenses, etc., etc., etc. So all that stuff matters a lot. But yeah, I guess that's what I'd say. If that made sense, Mr. Keeps on Ticking, I hope it did. And I think the reason I talk about relevance so much is, in my opinion, our ability to impact the world in a positive way really is dependent on the extent to which we are relevant to the world, right? If we're not relevant, then it's harder for us to fight for a better world. Relevance is not just kind of an ethereal thing. Relevance is a form of represents a form of capacity, a form of ability. All right, I think we will be ending this stream now, although, let me see. I just want to check something quickly. We will be back at 1 a.m., relatively brief stream tonight. And, Taskmaster came out with something new. And then Sunday, 7 p.m., live stream with me and my friend, Worship Brother Igor Strukin. So that should be a blast as well. And I'm curious, with my 24-hour live stream taking place on September 21st, because that starts on a Sunday, am I going to see more people watching it because it's on a Sunday and they're not working? I'm excited to see. It's going to be, I love trying new things on YouTube. It's one of my more favorite things to do. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I will see everybody soon.